What is up, you guys? This is MB Cash, and I am here at the lake once again, which can only mean one thing for all of you guys who have followed me and checked out my previous videos. It is time for a new custom Jason mask review. So let's get to it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Mark III. This is my newest custom mask, and just like its predecessors, the Mark I and the Mark II, this mask was created from a blank by JDF Studios, and this time I decided to go old school and go with a Part 3 blank. Now the reason why I went with the Part 3 blank is because for this year's Halloween I'm going to be dressing up as Jason Voorhees, and I'm going to go with a little bit more of a Part 3 classic costume. So for that I decided to go with the classical looking mask. Now what's really cool about the blank I used to create this mask is it's new. So JDF Studios has a new Part 3 and Part 4 blank that was created from a new mold. So this one's a little bit more accurate to the mask in Part 3, which is very cool. And I like it a lot, and I'm very happy with the work. So let's go ahead and bring the mask forward. I'll show you guys. So this is the Mark III, and as you can already tell, a lot of crackling on the paint, which is my favorite part of this mask's appearance. I like it a lot. I'm very happy with the work I did. So what was very cool when I got this blank, I got it in the mail on Friday the 13th, Friday September 13th, and I thought that was awesome. As soon as I opened it up, I went straight to work. I started out by drilling out all of the vent holes, cutting out the eye holes, and then sanding it down. And then once everything was sanded down, all the holes cut out, I then applied the snaps. And then after that, it was on to painting, which is the really fun part. So let's talk about the paint, shall we? So it is done in an off-white color. It's kind of hard to tell because of the sun, but it's an off-white color. It's not clean, pure white. The color I used was a mix of different colors. There's some antique white, some ivory, pure white, a little bit of yellow, a little bit of gray, and a tiny little bit of black just to dull it down a little bit. Now the way I was able to do this crackling effect, I used the Crackle Medium. So basically the way it works is you apply your acrylic paint. You might want to go with a darker color if you want to go with light with dark cracks. So you start out by applying your first color, your bottom color, let that dry, and then once that's dry you put the Crackle Medium on and it's clear. And it's cool because it kind of has like a glazed look when it's all dried up, kind of like a glazed donut, if I can use that analogy. And then once the Crackle Medium is all dried up, you apply your top coat and almost immediately the cracks start to form. So I started off with black. After I primed it, of course, I went with a gray primer. So after I primed it, I went with just flat black. Once the black was all dried up, Crackle Medium. Once the Crackle Medium was dry, then I took my off-white color that I told you I mixed up with a bunch of different colors. And I really, really like the detail. It's very, very, very nice. Now for the chevrons, I decided to use decals this time around instead of painting them like I did with the Mark I and Mark II, because again, I wanted to go a little old school, and the Part 3, Part 4 chevrons are more kind of like decal-ish. And let's see, I don't know if the camera can pick this up. There we go. There's a bit of a split. I did that by taking an X-Acto knife and just cutting it down the middle. Let's give it an H look. You can barely see it. There's one on the top on this one and a little bit on this chevron and in the corner here, and there's another split right there. Just an X-Acto knife. Now one thing that I really liked about the crackle effect on this mask is it's all intact. So something that I learned when doing the Mark I mask is if you're going to do your weathering while using a Crackle Medium paint job, make sure to seal the crackle effect first, because originally the Mark I was supposed to have a lot of crackling on the paint, just like as you can see here. But because I used a damp rag and some diluted acrylic paint to do my weathering, that ended up destroying a lot of my crackling effect. So with this time around, I made sure to seal it first. So after I did my initial color coats with the crackling effect, I sealed it off with a coat of flat clear. Then I did my weathering. Now as far as the weathering goes, there's not a whole lot. I didn't dirty it up, make it look like it's, you know, really beaten up, because the thing that I wanted to stress with this mask is it's more of an antique. So it's just lying around in a shelf or somewhere, and over time the paint started to crackle and the white paint started to yellow, because as we all know, white yellows with age and certain paints will crackle. So that's what I wanted to go with this mask. So there is some light weathering. I don't know if you can tell, but there is some light dirtying, but not a whole lot. It's still relatively clean, but I like it. That's the style that I wanted to go with, and I'm very happy with the work that I did. Now this is made of clear PETG plastic, so a little bit of give, and it was clear when I got it. So let me look at the back here. It's white because I went with a white paint for the back, and there's my signature, and I decided to sign it in red, just like old Bob Ross. You know, actually, I take back what I said about the primer. I'm sorry, I just remembered now, I didn't paint this thing with gray primer. It was a white primer, because I remember now, this is actually the primer. So, my apologies, not gray primer. The previous masks I've worked with, I did a gray primer, but this time I decided to go with a white primer. And I've also got some elastic straps. Only the top one right here is adjustable. The side one is at a fixed length. Still fits my head, and it fits my hood perfectly. So really, really happy with the end results. I like this mask a lot. Now it's time for comparison time, so I'm going to put this down. Let me reach into my bag here, and I'm going to get the Mark II out, and the sun is really going down, which is cool. So there's the Mark II and the Mark III. So looking at side by side, I really can't tell. Just like when I did my Mark II review and I had the Mark II and the Mark I together, I really can't tell which one I like better. I mean, I'm happy with both of them. This one, of course, was made from a Mortal Kombat X blank, also by JDF Studios. And by the way, I'm going to provide a link to the website, to JDF Studios, in the description, so that way if you guys are interested in picking up a blank for yourself to make your own custom mask, you can do so. But yeah, I like the way these masks both came out. I mentioned this is clear PETG plastic, and this one is ABS plastic, so this one doesn't really have a whole lot of give. This one's thick. Oh, and also, over the summer I gave the Mark II an upgrade. Originally I had elastic straps. This time I decided to go with nylon straps, just to change things up a bit. So, take this one away. So there you have it. There's the Mark III mask. I am very happy with the work I did, and I'm excited to wear it for Halloween this year with my classic Part 3 style costume. I think it's going to be fun. Looking forward to it. So that's the Mark III, and until next time, guys, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions, leave a comment down below, and once again, I'll provide a link to JDF Studios so you can pick up a blank for yourself if you're interested in making your own custom Jason masks. So until next time, guys, I will see you all later. God bless, my friends. Take care.